The movie opens in an elegant, well-manicured suburban neighborhood, where the Hayes family appears to embody the American dream. Beautiful home, successful careers, and a picture-perfect existence. However, beneath the polished exterior lies a home ruled by strict control. Mona, the matriarch, enforces her authority with an iron grip, ensuring that everything follows her meticulously crafted schedule. Her husband, Don, and their two children, Allison and Andrew, have little choice but to comply. Their household lacks warmth, spontaneity, and true familial connection. Mona harbors an extreme fear of failure, which she projects onto her children, insisting that they must always emerge victorious, regardless of the cost. Any deviation from her expectations results in harsh consequences. Meanwhile, Don feels suffocated in this rigid environment. His marriage has lost its spark, as Mona prioritizes control over intimacy. Though deeply unhappy, Don chooses to endure it all, hoping to maintain stability for his children. In his professional life, Don manages a well-known furniture store, a business funded by Mona's wealthy parents, which essentially places Mona in a position of ownership. One day, the store opens applications for new employees, and a woman named Dusty arrives for an interview. From the moment Don lays eyes on her, there's an unspoken attraction. His longtime friend and colleague, Les, jokingly encourages Don to hire her, remarking that a little distraction might make his dreary life more bearable. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, a dangerous man is on the move, fresh from committing a violent act. As he watches a television ad for Don's store, an unsettling realization dawns. He and his gang are about to set their sights on Don and his family. Unbeknownst to Don, he is already being watched. Back in Don's world, his monotonous life takes a turn when he gives in to temptation and embarks on an affair with Dusty. What starts as a thrilling escape soon becomes a deep, passionate entanglement. As his involvement with Dusty intensifies, his already strained marriage deteriorates further. However, Don believes he has everything under control, until reality catches up with him. During a family gathering, Dusty delivers shocking news. She is pregnant with Don's child. Stunned, Don struggles to process the revelation, especially since Dusty had assured him she was on birth control. Making matters worse, she refuses to terminate the pregnancy, insisting that she genuinely wants to keep the baby. She pressures Don to take responsibility, throwing him into a spiral of panic. Desperate for a solution, Don confides in Les, who suggests the simplest way out, paying Dusty off to make her disappear. Les argues that women like Dusty often target men with money, aiming to trap them into financial ruin. At first, Don hesitates, but eventually he follows Les's advice and hands Dusty $13,000, pleading with her to leave him alone. However, Dusty reacts with outrage, feeling insulted by the transaction. Little does Don know, Les was right about one thing. Dusty has dangerous ties. She is involved with Murphy, the same criminal we saw earlier. Murphy orchestrates scams by using Dusty to lure wealthy men into compromising situations, only to later extort them for money. This time, however, Dusty seems to have developed real feelings for Don, complicating the scheme. Murphy isn't satisfied with the initial payout. He orders Dusty to demand even more, this time $25,000. Don, having already emptied his savings, is now completely out of options. Realizing that secrecy is no longer sustainable, he makes the difficult decision to come clean to Mona.
What did you do? What is it?
Well, it's not easy to feel like I
Spit it out!
I've been having an affair at the store with Dusty, the sales girl.
To Don's surprise, Mona remains eerily composed upon hearing his confession. Instead of reacting with immediate rage, she asks him one simple question. Does he still love her? Caught off guard, Don reaffirms his love for her and their children, vowing to do whatever it takes to make things right. What he doesn't realize is that Mona is already planning her own response, and she's not about to let someone else dictate the fate of her family. Mona, fuming with anger, reminds him of everything she has sacrificed, the wealth, the status, and all the doors her family's influence has opened for him. But her fury takes a sinister turn when she presents him with a chilling ultimatum: either eliminate Dusty or lose his family forever. In Mona's eyes, anyone who dares to disrupt the stability of their home doesn't deserve to walk away unscathed. When Dusty calls, demanding the $20,000, Mona instructs Don to agree to the payout, though she clearly has a more permanent solution in mind. Faced with an impossible choice, Don wrestles with the weight of what Mona is asking him to do. Could he really take a life? The mere thought sends him spiraling, yet the fear of losing his wife and children keeps him tethered to Mona's ruthless logic. The next day, Mona escalates her pressure, ensuring Don follows through before Dusty arrives at his office that night for the money. She even goes so far as to prepare a lethal dose of drugs, showing just how committed she is to erasing this problem. Her frustration mounts as she sees Don waver, urging him to stop being a coward and protect their family by any means necessary. Cornered and devoid of options, Don resigns himself to the plan, searching for a way to carry it out. That night, Dusty arrives, greeted by a seemingly composed Don, who offers her a drink laced with Mona's concoction. As Dusty sips, she quickly realizes something is wrong. Don's demeanor is off, and soon enough, her body betrays her as the drug takes effect. She collapses, and just as Don begins to panic, Mona steps in with eerie composure, instructing him to haul Dusty's body into the trunk. However, as they arrive home, Don is horrified to find that Dusty is still alive. Mona, however, laughs to see this and tells Don to go get the hammer. Don then gives the hammer to Mona, but instead, Mona tells Don to do it to correct his mistake. Don, who is afraid, explains that he is really unable to do so, so Mona tells him to open the trunk and lets her do it.
Open that trunk!
After that, Dusty's body is taken into their garage for Mona to begin dismembering Dusty herself. Don, unable to stomach the horror, stumbles to the bathroom and vomits, surrendering to the nightmare his life has become. Meanwhile, Murphy grows suspicious. Days have passed, and Dusty has vanished without a trace. When Don returns home from work, his blood runs cold at the sight of Murphy chatting with his son outside. Soon after, Murphy corners Don at a club, demanding answers. Don sticks to his lie. He gave Dusty the money and hasn't seen her since. But Murphy isn't buying it. With Dusty gone, the debt now falls on Don, and Murphy isn't feeling patient. He gives Don an ultimatum: cough up $20,000 by tomorrow, or his family will pay the price. Mona, ever the strategist, has a different solution. She insists they retrieve Dusty's remains and take their revenge to the gangsters themselves. That night, as Murphy and Don prepare for another meeting at the club, Mona infiltrates the gang's empty house. With no one home, she carefully places Dusty's dismembered remains, including her severed head, inside their refrigerator, a grotesque message waiting to be discovered. But her rampage doesn't end there. When one of the gangsters unexpectedly returns with a woman, Mona swiftly eliminates them both using a kitchen knife she found in the house. As she slips away, the surviving gangster, barely clinging to life, manages to call Murphy, gasping out the horror of what's happened. Meanwhile, Mona takes an anonymous phone and calls the police, reporting a violent disturbance at Murphy's address. As soon as Murphy hears this, he rushes home, only to find his house in complete chaos. He's shocked to discover Dusty's remains stuffed in the refrigerator. In that moment, he realizes Mona has set him up. Every piece of evidence now makes him look guilty. Before he can react, the police arrive. In the commotion, they shoot and kill his man, but Murphy manages to slip away through a hidden door beneath the house. Later that night, Don, still reeling from the chaos, finally confronts Mona. He has to understand. What turned her into this ruthless woman? Was there some trauma in her past? Some deep wound that shaped her into what she is now? But Mona's response is unexpected. She doesn't reveal a tragic backstory or a childhood scarred by violence. Instead, her eyes darken as she insists that her parents were perfect, that she was raised in an environment of strength and success. In Mona's world, there was never room for weakness, only power, control, and absolute loyalty. Don barely has time to process Mona's chilling confession before she delivers an even more terrifying warning. If he ever questions her past again, he'll meet the same gruesome fate as Dusty. From that moment on, Don's life is consumed by paranoia, trapped under Mona's ever-tightening grip. Her descent into madness deepens as she sets her sights on a new target: Les's son, a physically imposing boy who consistently outperforms Andrew in every game they play. The next day, police arrive at Don's house with grim news. They inform him that his employee, Dusty, has been found dead, and while they've apprehended one suspect, another remains at large. But what truly unnerves Don is that someone has reported seeing him near Dusty's lodge. Cornered, Don confesses, though not the full truth. Instead, he admits to having an affair with Dusty, claiming that her boyfriend extorted him to keep it a secret from Mona. The officer, seeing through his nervous act, dryly warns Don that he doesn't want to be cleaning up another murder if Mona ever finds out the truth. Their tense conversation is interrupted by a neighbor's dog wandering into the garage. Mona, irritated by the intrusion, issues a chilling warning about what will happen if the dog trespasses again. Later, during Andrew's birthday celebration, Don makes a horrifying discovery. The neighbor's dog has been killed and stuffed inside their refrigerator. Despite the unsettling undercurrent, the party continues with a friendly competition between Andrew and Les's son. However, when Andrew struggles to win, Mona seethes with anger. She declares the match unfair, accusing Les's son of using steroids, and cruelly insults his mother, making a vile remark about her Crohn's disease. The tension peaks when Allison, sensing her brother's frustration, abruptly smashes the unicorn piñata to pieces. It becomes evident that Allison is Mona's favorite, always given preferential treatment over Andrew. Observing this, Don is filled with despair. He realizes that if nothing changes, Allison will grow up to be just like her mother. Determined to end the nightmare, Don devises a deadly plan. He discreetly shuts off the garage's electricity, creating a setup for an electrical short. After testing his plan, he opens the gas cylinder valve, allowing the garage to fill with gas. Then, with feigned innocence, he asks Mona to fetch some beef from the garage fridge while he checks on the grill. As she heads inside, Don calmly walks away, his heart pounding, but his face unreadable. Inside the garage, Mona flips the light switch. Instantly, a spark ignites the gas-filled room, triggering a massive explosion. The blast consumes Mona in an inferno, finally putting an end to her reign of terror. With Mona gone, Don starts over in a new home, relishing the fortune she left behind. Free from her suffocating control, he and the children live without fear, embracing a life unshackled by her twisted rules. But peace is short-lived. The film's final moments reveal that Murphy, the gangster who escaped, has not forgotten. As Don drives down a quiet road, a car follows closely behind. The screen fades to black as the sound of 2 gunshots pierces the silence, leaving Don's fate unknown. With this, the movie ends. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other content. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great videos.